Hello friends, you're with the Lonesome Gamer, and I'm playing 1829. And we made it now into phase 2, where the green tiles are available. The 3 trains are already out. There's actually no 3 train left there. The next one is number 4. And 5 companies are already floated. And we go into the stock round. So there's a lot of money with the players now in the stock rounds. Most of the players had about $300 or so. So there'll be the option to buy quite a bunch of shares and maybe float a few new companies. So first of all, the GNR got sold out, and now this guy has the option to buy the directorship of the LBSC. It's not good. It's probably not the best company. I mean, they're operating down there. Maybe they can make a connection to here, and then it's not that bad. But if they can't, it could mean a lot of trouble. But anyway, there is nothing else out there to buy. So he might also simply buy it, and maybe he can use it as a suitcase and get money into the GWR. That definitely sounds like an interesting option for him. So he buys it for 134. And that's kind of another issue, right? I mean, these guys that don't get the option to buy a directorship because they are simply not in the right player order, there is nearly no way for them to manipulate that. I mean, of course, they could simply pass, but maybe that's a reasonable choice. I mean, some people, the people who are behind, they have to buy something because nobody wants to risk that everybody simply consecutively passes and the stock round is over. So the people who making the least money will in the end buy shares, even though it might not be specifically good shares. But that's the problem with the fact that you can only buy from top to bottom, right? You have no choice, at least not at the moment where there is absolutely nothing in the bank pool. And it continues. The company has floated by now, and basically simply everybody buys shares of that company. And yeah, there is no reason not to do it. The goal is basically to get the shares out of the way. You can always sell these shares. You can also do it before the company has operated. The goal is simply to get to a more attractive company. This is the Great Eastern Railway. Let's see where that starts. At 7. Where is that? Now that is here. That might be more interesting. You can make your way here to the north, for example. Maybe hook up here somehow. That looks like a more promising company for me than that one, because they might get trapped in here. I mean, I'm not sure about it. There is also not that much in this area, but if you know, you can upgrade these dots, and then we'll have a few cities here. So I think as a long-term perspective, this one might be more interesting, but it's also hard to tell. So now it's this guy's turn, and during the stock round, and he now has the option to buy the directorship of the GER, and I think he's going to do it. He does not quite have the money to completely buy it. So I think he's going to sell this one again for 67 bucks. Goes into the open market, and now he has the option to do it. His plan is to use this tile. He's going to operate first with the LNWR. And because you can basically upgrade any tile on the map, no matter where your survey party is, his plan is to upgrade this tile into this, which is a total disaster for the companies here in the south, because they're never going to get out of this. The only way is basically to upgrade this city here into a brown city, and then if nobody places a tile, I mean, as soon as only one company, or let me say it that way, there are basically 3 companies all fighting for the 2 dots there. So this is a pretty ugly situation, and it's going to be hard for the companies here to make some real money. I mean, the only point is that you could say, okay, the shares are not that valuable. They only cost 71 or 64, and the new one will cost 67. Well, actually, the 64 is the one in the north. So basically, we're talking about 71 or 67. So if you invest, you don't have to invest that much money to get a revenue of, I don't know, maybe 10 per share or something like that. So if you see it that way, it's maybe not that bad compared to these high price companies. But still, I don't know. I prefer to have one of the more profitable companies. So we go into the next or the first operating round, and there is this weird disc, that white disc, and I have no idea what's it for. The rules say it's a marker. In the table of contents it said there's one white marker. I don't know what to mark with that thing. I'm going to use it to track the operating rounds, and I'm going to use that I don't know the word, the compass or whatever too. So we start up here and then make our way around this, right? So, and we can use the center for a stock round or something like that. So yeah, first operating round, and now what these guys were afraid of, or what these southern companies were afraid of, will happen. The LNWR will move the survey party, and then they're going to upgrade this thing here into this tile, and that is obviously a total disaster. And on the other side, the LNWR can now help the GER, laying a good connection into here, for example, like this. They can connect to this network here. So yeah, I think that the GER is not that bad. They're already set up here for a 70 run, which is also pretty good. And then they can simply start improving their position. And I don't know, in 2 or 3 turns, they then should be hooked up with this bigger network here. I mean, it's going to be hard. They can probably not break through here, and they got to compete with these 2 companies. Maybe they don't really get a lot out of it, but still, at least there's an option. So, and then I'm gonna run again and obviously pay out. So I'm again in the middle of the operating round. The GWR was kind of shocked of this tile placement. So what they did to improve their position now, they moved a token here to block this guy from placing a tile in an even worse position. Their goal was basically to hook up with a city here, but that goal was destroyed by the player of the Great Northern. What they did is they also made a connection here. They upgraded this tile so that they can connect to this here. And yeah, as I said, they were hoping then to make another connection, maybe like this. But that's not going to work out because first of all, the player of the Midland, he upgraded this city. So there is now finally a connection here to the Great Northern. And then the Great Northern laid a tile here, or a token here, and they upgraded this city with the goal eventually to have basically exclusive access, or well, not exclusive, but they to gain access to Birmingham and keep these guys here from the south away from that. And that looks interesting because, yeah, they can work together. The president, the GNR, and the Midland have the same president, so they can maybe build a powerful network here in the north and kind of try to keep the others out of it. Maybe work together with the guy of the LNWR. The share, the player also holds 2 shares of them, so maybe we can even try to make these 3 companies to work together to a certain point. It already happened here with that token in Birmingham. If you remember, there was a gentleman's agreement that nobody would place a token there, and that seems to work out fine for everyone until now. So maybe we get further collusion here. So the LBSC down here starts to operate, and now their plan is basically to make a connection to this double O's here, and the GWR, they will help them upgrade that. They're both controlled by the same company. So in the next run, he can at least make a 3 run, which isn't great, but it's something. He cannot go to London, which really sucks, but you cannot use these stations if another player is already sitting there, not even as a terminus. I already said that. I realized there is actually a brown tile which would allow me to move like this and also like this, I think. But so there is at least a way out for me here, but I don't know if that will do me that much good. And yeah, I don't know. Anyway, so I moved the survey party here, and now I'm thinking about buying a train, but I'm not absolutely sure what I want to do here. I think I might actually want to buy the 3 train because I can run the 3 train. I thought about buying the 3 train from this company. The thing is, I want more money in that company here. So maybe I can buy myself a 4 train. By the way, in this game, the 4s are permanent, which is pretty awesome. So I could buy myself a 4 train, and I also want to lay a token here with the green guys because that's going to be super important. So my idea was to say, okay, I'm going to buy a 3 train because I simply have more shares in the LBSC than in the GWR. So I want the LBSC running well. I mean, I can still sell it, but there's not that much. I mean, the thing is, I have priority in the next round. So I can start a new company, the GCR, and I will do that. There is no reason not to do it because it simply gives me money. And I got a feeling that makes this game really kind of brutal. It feels very random in a way because, yeah, I don't know. It feels like it is hard to say how to control who can actually start a new company. It kind of feels like, okay, this is something that is simply only dependent of who has priority, but there is no real influence for that. You know, if I had passed or something, I don't know. I cannot see it. I find that very hard to influence that. So therefore, I think this is a weakness of the game, that it's really, really hard to somehow control, can I start a company or not, right? It feels very random. Anyway, so I definitely want to do that because it gives me free money, although I'm sitting here a little bit alone. But right now, what I want to do is I want to buy that 3 train from this guy for a lot of money. Because he's going to buy a 4 train and he needs a token. So I don't know if I even want to, it's hard to tell how much I want to invest. 500 definitely, I guess. More? Hard to tell. Maybe. On the other hand, I also want to have the option to lay a token. So I don't know, maybe I'm going to spend 550 to these other guys. The 3 train will not last forever, but I still might then have the option to fiddle around somehow here. Okay, so that's then their operating round, and the share value will drop obviously, and then we come to the first operating round of the GER. The token goes here, as does the survey company, and I'm going to move these guys here. Still hoping to get north somehow, but now I realize it's going to be much harder because, yeah, this is now cut off. And I'm not sure. I mean, I still have the option to upgrade this, but the problem now is all the green cities that are left have only a single dot. So it's also going to be super hard to get in somewhere. And I gotta say, I'm also not sure what I'm gonna do. I got a feeling like, hey, maybe I just want to buy a 2 train from these guys, so they can afford a 4 train, which they definitely can use. And so they might. Yeah, I'm gonna keep some money. Well, you know what? I think I'm only keep $50 here. Because I want to be able to lay a token, but for now I don't really see a big future of this company here. Got to be honest here. And the share value drops also. And yeah, that's pretty much it then. So we can see these new floated companies were basically now used as suitcases. They will make a little bit of money, but definitely not a lot. And yeah, we'll see if the owners, how long the owners will actually hold on to them. We get into the second operating round here, and just want to show you that kind of special thing now that we have now 2 parties here in one hex. So that means the guy leaves the hex now. You have to move away. You always have to move your party, except if you are on a pre-printed brown hex. There you can remain. But otherwise you have to move away. So he moves out of the hex. And the thing is now that he will not... he's now not allowed to lay a tile there because there's another party sitting there. So that's how this blocking idea works. But that other party would now not be allowed to follow me into the same hex. So this kind of constant idea of blocking is illegal. So it's a little weird, right? The more companies start, the more of these parties you have, and they will then after a while it seems they start fighting over the few remaining hexes, and it seems also like there might be a lot more blocking now, because the thing is you don't have to be on the hex to upgrade a tile. So you can use this the survey party now a lot more for simply destructive, for blocking purposes. Anyway, I'm gonna upgrade this thing here, I guess, into a yellow city. I hope I can actually, but it seems... shit, it's not possible. There are no straight yellow cities anymore. So I can't do it. I could upgrade this one here though, and interesting. I think I want to do that. It can't hurt, I guess. So if question is only, do I want to... I mean, I could do it like this, which is not a very good idea, I think. So, oh, actually, I can't do it in any other way. That's weird. That sucks, man. Well then, yeah, okay, I'm gonna do it like this. It gives me $30. We'll see if that does us good. Hard to tell. So now I only have 2 trains left here. So I got a 3. Yeah, well, that's fine. I can run that 2 train here for 50. And then I can run the 3 train for 30, 40, and another 40 for 80. So I haven't lost that much. So I'm making 130. And then I'm gonna buy myself a a 4 train for $430. And that now starts again a new phase. Ah, fuck. Again, I messed that up. The money should go in here. At the end of this second operating round, well, we have the upgrade here of the LNWR. They upgraded this space here. And they bought a 4 train then. Actually, I think I showed that, but I'm not sure. So then the GWR, they upgraded this space here also to allow the LBSC to make a run here. And they also bought a 4 train, and they control now also 4 trains. And by the way, buying a 4 train basically changes nothing. It's a new phase, but the rules stay exactly the same. When the 5 train comes into play, train limit and other things will change. and the 2 trains go away when the 5 train is purchased. There is still 1 4 train out, well, actually 2. There are still 2 4 trains out there. The LSWR, they laid a city tile here. They're going to try to make a connection here. And they also purchased themselves a 4 train. And their goal is actually to place a token here. And then they can run 2 trains. It's not so bad for them. It looks like they are kind of captured here, which they are. But at least they have access to London, different to the LBSC. So they can run a 3 train here and then a 4 train here. Well, it's only going to be a 3 train actually, but anyway, they can run at least 2 trains in a reasonable way, right? The GNR, nothing too well. They upgraded this tile here in a way that they will eventually get access to it, but the 8 becomes now even more unattractive because this possible connection is gone for now. So the 8, which might come out now, is definitely not a great option right now. In addition, excuse me, in addition, there are no more 00 tiles available now. So they also cannot upgrade this one here in the north. So yeah, really, the 8 is in a really bad position here, especially if they cannot cut through the mountains here because they don't own the company. It's just pure suitcase thing. I don't see why anybody. I mean, this is really hard to operate here. The LBSC laid the track here, so they can now operate a 3 train for 90 bucks. Not great, but the best probably they can do right now. I don't know if they might be interested getting themselves another 2 train to operate here. Maybe they could buy that from the GWR. It's an option. I don't know. And eventually the Great Eastern, the GER, they laid a tile here, and their idea is now to kind of sneak in here, right? If they upgrade this and then get a turn here, and again, there is no gentle curve with a dot, and again, I didn't see that, but now, so they can get a turn here like this and then upgrade this. They might have an option to sneak in here and place a token there, which could be pretty awesome. And yeah, that is definitely their plan now. If it doesn't work out, they can still continue trying to go north, but I think that would be a more attractive space here. It would also open the way to Birmingham. So yeah, that would be great if they could get a token there, but I'm pretty sure the owner of the GWR is not so happy to allow that, especially after this move here. So he's probably going to try to upgrade that in a way so that the others cannot get there. But it's kind of questionable. They can work with 2 survey parties. So I don't know if that guy can block them forever. It might be hard for them. Okay. I think I'm going to do another set of operating round. It takes a while to play out, but I'm not sure, but I'm thinking I'm not recording that much. I think I only kind of focus on the important stuff, and therefore I think the video is not that long, but it takes a long time to play that out. I mean, there are now 7 companies operating, and the shares are totally cross-invested, so you got to pay for everybody when someone is operating. It's not like, okay, this guy holds 60% and the rest goes into the bank pool or something like that. No. Everybody is holding a share of something here, which prolongs the game, obviously, too. So yeah, the GCR is just selling, and as I said, it's this very bad company up there who nobody's really interested in it. On the other hand, he had priorities, so he said, okay, I can use that thing as a suitcase, so why not? You know, it brings more money into my companies. So it might not be a bad idea. So what do the others think about that? I mean, they might not be interested in helping him float. On the other hand, there's nothing else to buy. So I thought about, okay, who is in the best position? You know, this guy might be just happy and say, okay, I don't want any new shares to come out. I'm fine. If the game stays in this state, I will win in the end. So he might not be too interested, and he might pass maybe. But it's hard to say because I don't want to calculate everything, and it still seems like most people are pretty even. But I kind of found out that, or I thought, okay, this guy is probably using this as a suitcase company, and he holds the LBSC and the GWR. So maybe the investors who hold the most shares of these two companies say, okay, why not help him? You know, we will also profit from the fresh money that goes into the companies. So therefore, people who are also invested in these two companies, like he holds, for example, 4 shares over all of these companies. He also holds 4 shares. He does. These guys are willing to help him, and the others are passing. I think that is a reasonable behavior at the moment. So now the GCR floated, and the next and actually it was sold out. The next one becomes available now, the LNYR, and they're sitting here, which is, I think, not a bad position. The only problem is it is blocked by the L&M, so you cannot upgrade it. And the Liverpool and Manchester is owned by this guy down here. He paid $210 for it and makes 20 out of it each turn. So I don't know, right? Someone might have to buy that from him for a good amount of money and then close it, which allows him to keep the company. In the end, he will still, the money counts, but he doesn't get the $20 per turn, which is super painful. Or we just have to wait until the first, I think, 7 train is purchased, and then the companies will all close automatically. So I don't know. I mean, this is, I think that might take a while until this can be eventually upgraded, but it still makes $40, which is not bad at all. And you know, you could lay a city here and then make a connection like this, or I don't know, make a connection somehow here and then here. There's just a $30 city here, and there are options, right? You're not totally isolated like this guy is, I think, at least. So I think this is the better company. So many people are now also at their certificate limit. This is a certificate limit of 14, and you can see many people holding a lot of shares here. All these are also his shares. So most of them are actually now at the certificate limit. So now we finally see some companies going into the bank pool, and obviously right now it's the GCR. You know, it was, everybody kind of bought it to float it, and now they're going to sell it right away because it just is not promising at all. This one definitely seems better. And the last company, by the way, is sitting down here, and I don't know, man, this also seems like a questionable company, at least at the moment. You know, it seems like these two companies down here are kind of doing their thing, and will probably block him pretty badly. London is not accessible yet. Well, Yeah, I got to be honest. I think this is also one of these companies who will basically used as a suitcase. Might be wrong, but it's what I think. What I'm expecting here. Okay, now this guy will also invest in this new one for 58. He passed a few times, therefore he is not at his share limit yet. And yeah, I'm pretty sure we're going to get this floated too. And we'll see what happens then. So a lot of GCR shares were sold. We're having now here 1, 2, 4 in the bank pool. And that the LNYR was sold out. And the new company, the last one, got finally started, the SECR, the Southeastern and Chatham, the one where I'm missing the director's certificate. But I still have, as I said at the beginning, I have the complete number of certificates, so I think it's simply a misprint. So this one starts down here in a probably really poor position. So yeah, he's basically interested to use it as a suitcase company for his other two guys. But now the question is really, why would other people help him? There is nothing else to come. Most of them, or many, are at the share limit. And so, I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. He might be interested to invest a little more. But, I mean, this one doesn't really seem better than that one. So, the only thing that could be, again, kind of a point here is, okay, I want to try to help him do that suitcase. And he holds the GNR in the Midland with 30% each, and I'm also holding 20% of the Midland and 20% of the GNR. So yes, I might say, okay, you know what, I'm going to help you float this thing, but then maybe I might even sell it again and invest instead in this GCR, which looks more promising. I don't know. I mean, I still have kind of 3 open. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, I got 3 open slots. I have a lot of money left, so I got to buy something at that point. But most of it is obviously not too interesting. So we are at the, everybody is now at the certificate limit. All the companies floated, and we are not even in the brown tiles. We're still with the 4 trains, so that's definitely a strange pace here. Kind of reminds me a little on 1853, which is definitely not a coincidence. It's the same designer, same feeling of play, although 1853 seems a little more interesting in some ways, but that's hard to tell actually. But we can talk about that after the playthrough, right? Anyway, for now, I want to go into the next cycle of operating rounds and start again with the LNWR, and I kind of want to try to make that hook here for the GER. Maybe I can get this done somehow. So, question is, where do I want to move my survey party? Do I need these guys somewhere else to help me up there? But I don't think there is a lot I can do there. So yeah, I think for now I might... I might simply move here maybe. Okay, and then I'm gonna take a tile like this. I mean, I'm kind of expecting that this guy here will piss me off and upgrade this into something that I cannot use. But then I can still, I don't know, I can upgrade this into a city or something. We'll see where this all goes. So it's, again, kind of an interesting situation here because you know, it might be a good idea now to swallow from time to time, simply because in the stock rounds there is not a lot to buy anymore. I mean, what's left, and that might not be so bad, are these shipping lines, right? And they're not that bad. They're super expensive. They give an okay revenue, but they don't increase in share value. But you know, if there's nothing out there, these guys might in the end make the difference. If you're holding two of these and nobody else, and you know, it gives you a big advantage compared to other people. So yes, it could be cool to have those, but still, I mean, maybe swallowing now and preparing to buy another good train might be a good idea. Also, we got to keep in mind that, for example, the 4 train here is already a permanent train, so maybe it's not a best idea to buy too many of these cheap trains if we want to make sure that we get a good train, maybe a second permanent train which is worth more. Of course, we can kind of train shuffle a little bit, but yeah, we just should keep that in mind. So I'm done with the first operating round here. Just move that here, and gosh. So basically what happened is the we saw the LNWR helping the other guys to hook up, which actually happened in the end. Let me see, the GWR, these guys, yeah, they were playing it safe. They realized, okay, we cannot prevent this from happening here, this hookup here. So instead, they managed to lay a track here, place a token there, and now they can make a really good run, basically. They have the connection here to here. And the thing is, they don't have to... they don't always have to connect all their runs to this city. They can run the 2 trains down here, for example. They can also go like this, here, right? This is now worth quite a bit. They have a good run there. I think actually, let me see what they had. They had, I think, 3 2 trains and a 4 train. So basically what they did once, twice, 3 times, and then the 4 train ran, yeah, I think also like this. So in the end, they only had to hit this guy twice, which was okay. And it was a really good run, as I said. And actually, I think they swallowed. They have a ton of money here, but that is not only because of the swallow, but still, that gave them a lot of money. Next was the Midland. They operated up here, and they kind of... what did they do? I'm not sure where they laid track. Something was laid here to make a connection into the south. I didn't want to go like this, because this city is blocked. So if I go south, I still control this area, which is a good thing. And I don't let anybody in here. Of course, at some point they might be able to upgrade this, but still. And I also swallowed the LSWR. They had a pretty good run here. They are sitting now on 2 trains, a 4 and a 3 train. So basically they did a run like this, 3, and another run here, 3. As I said, it was a good run. They paid out. They couldn't run it perfectly because they only can hit 6 stations, but it's still pretty good. The The Great Northern was next. And yeah, basically all they did was also they were just simply doing their run and paid out. They're having their 2-3 trains. So yeah, it was a solid run, something like from here down here, and the other one was like this. It wasn't too great though, they don't hit a big city or something. Then we have the Brighton, the LBSC with a 3 run, and basically they're doing something like that. They could use yeah, they're planning to get a second train so that they could do basically the same as the LSWR. The problem is they cannot hit London, but still they can operate also 2 trains, and the owner has 4 shares. So wait a minute, I'm kind of messing this up. Yeah, this guy, he has also 4 shares, so why not run a second train here, even if it's not that great. And they also paid out. They want to gain share value. They're all pretty low here, so it doesn't help them a lot to swallow. First of all, it's not that much money. Second of all, they really want to push their share value so that they're not getting too bad. And then we had our, well, the GER actually, they managed to hook up. They managed to place a token here, which brings them in a very strong position, actually. They cannot use London twice, but they can get there once. They have a connection now to Birmingham, which could get cut off by the GWR, and we might see that. But they cannot get there in the next turn, so it's going to be interesting. Maybe they can also come to an agreement not to place a token there at all. And yeah, eventually they did only a 70 run because they had only a single train, and they purchased a train now from these guys. And their problem is, or this player's problem in general is, he is pretty short on money. He couldn't get another suitcase gone. I mean, he basically has 2 good companies. They have a real good perspective, but they are all fairly short in money. He has a single 4 train, but he could make much more money out of it if he could get 2 trains in each company. Right now it works, but he might have to swallow a few times. I don't know how he can actually do that. He didn't want to swallow with these guys because then the share value just drops too badly, and I want to avoid that. In this game, sadly, there are no double jumps or something, so every swallow is really painful. So I want to try to pay out with these guys, maybe swallow a little more with them, because they are so high and they're going to simply stop here. So swallowing a little bit with them is maybe not so bad, because I can, you know, at some point I cannot go any higher. Then this new company here, the Grand Central, or what it was called, I mean, this is just a total loser, and I'm not planning to do anything with these guys, I guess. I don't know what's gonna happen, but I think I'm gonna just use them as a suitcase. I purchased the 4 train from them to get a lot of money into the GWR, and then I'm gonna buy the 4 train back here into the LBSC. So I have a 4 and a 3 train here, and I can buy a really good train here. I think that could be a good idea. Yeah, and well, actually, I might even consider, if I buy the 4 train, for example, the last 4 train, the 5 train is $550, but you know, if I buy the 4 train, wow, man, I might be even able to afford both. That would be awesome. That would be really cool. I think I might be able to do that. So this guy might actually do that big move and crack the trains open. So because I was thinking, wow, this is not looking good, you know, there's still a 4 train there, why should anybody buy that? But this guy is sitting on so much money. So we might actually see that. And yeah, eventually the yellow company down here. Okay, I mean, this is just ridiculous. They're blocked here, and yeah, okay, eventually London will open up, but it's, it's not the safe bet that they can actually get there. It is also possible that the LBSC will manage to get that route. So I think this is also just a suitcase company, and actually he bought for a ton of money. He bought the 2 train. So this guy is sitting now also on $700, and he's also in kind of a kind of questionable position here. He has 2 fine companies, the GNR and the Midland, but he only has the money to really buy good trains for one of them. So he's in a similar position as this guy here. But okay, I mean, I think there is. I enjoy the game. It's interesting, but it's so long. I'm gonna do another operating round before I load this up, but I gotta go to bed now because it takes me forever to play one of these operating rounds. So we are in the second operating round. The companies are preparing for the big crash. The LNWR swallowed and did nothing of interest. The GWR also swallowed once more and then bought the last 4 train, and then they were train locked. They had 3 more 2 trains, and so they couldn't buy the 5 train, although they had the money. But then the Midland operated, and they also swallowed, and they were able to buy the 5 train. And well, they're now also considering kind of juggling trains between these 2. So maybe we can get also a 5 train in here. It's not that easy, but we might have to swallow with these guys, I think, and then we might be able to do it. Interesting thing is that now with the first 5 train out, of course, all the 2 trains did rust. So many companies are only sitting there on a single train. Actually, the SECR has no train at all. And the brown tiles are available now. And here we can now see that the wait a minute, this one here, the Great Northern Railway, they have now the option to place what was that? Birmingham. To place Birmingham in an advantageous way for them, and that is really good. That is very, very good. So yeah, that will help them tremendously, I guess. Just realized an interesting thing. I should have really checked that before. The only brown tiles available are these. That implies that it's basically impossible to upgrade these double cities. You can only upgrade these small cities, these ones and these. But you cannot upgrade the big or the bigger green cities. Interesting to realize. Sadly too late. So I'm gonna upgrade London then. Gonna remove all that stuff here. Oops. And there we go. Gosh. Okay, that is the survey party here. That's why there are 2. So that gives now 70 bucks. And yeah, I got a 3 and a 4 train, so I can make a fairly solid run. 130 and 1, 2, yeah. So that's then, and another 90, so it's 220. So at the end of the operating round, the LSWR managed to lay a tile here, which allows them finally to break out here into this area from the south here. The guys from the GNR, they laid the tile here, which isn't too great for them, but it massively pisses off the others, because now there is no junction between north and south, which could have happened otherwise, but there is only now this this track going like this, which basically leads to nowhere, right? I mean, we got a 10 here, a 10 there, so it's not too interesting, but yeah, it's definitely a disadvantage for the companies here in the south. These guys down here did an upgrade. The LBSC is sitting now on a 3 and a 4 train. So they are doing fairly well. They will be able to make a good run here. You can see here the crazy battle for this connection to London, right? Everybody sent their party there, and in the end it seems the yellow guys will be allowed to choose how to place the tile. The funny thing is, this guy who is in control of the yellow guys is going to sell it, so it's that might be an interesting and valuable reason to try to get the presidency of the SECR. And which one is it? The L and YR, the Lancashire and Yorkshire, they did a very simple route here, and they have a 4 train, and they're going to run. So that is not only a suitcase company, they make 100 bucks, which isn't too bad. And yeah, these two here, the SECR, the yellow one, and that light blue one, this Grand Central up here, they are in such a bad position. They are just pure suitcase companies. The train here was moved to the LBSC from the Grand Central, and here also the money was moved to the Midland, which was able to buy a 5 train. And yeah, it's kind of interesting. The GWR has now the money left to buy another 5 train and even place a token. They're in a very good shape here. The Midland, well, hard to tell. I mean, if they swallow another time, they might be able to also buy another 5 train, but for them it's getting painful. Swallowing again, you know, that throws them back quite a bit. They swallowed now, I think, 2 times already, so swallowing a 3rd time is definitely painful, but it might be worth it. And here, these guys are sitting on 350 or so, so that's not enough. But yeah, same here, another swallow, and they might also be able to get a 2nd permanent train. Question for him is then, does he want to run 2 companies, each with a single train, or does he want to, and one of them only a 4 train, or does he want to move all the trains into one really strong company and try to get rid of the rest? Probably not the latter. The problem is that he only holds 30% of each of these companies, so doesn't really give him that advantage to focus on one, and there is nothing else he could buy, right? He has then a few empty slots, so at that time at least these companies make some profit. gain some share value. And the GR is actually not that bad compared to the ones that are around it. So they paid out quite a bit here. Okay, so I'm done with this cycle of operating rounds. I'm going to move this here again for the stock round. And yeah, it's possible that we now see these Steam Pack companies go away in the stock round. Everybody is at their stock limit, but there's a lot of money in some players. We have here nearly $500. Yeah, $400. So $300 to $500. That's what the players own. So that should be definitely enough for some of these Steam Pack companies. Especially some players might sell a few shares. The GCR, the SECR, they just lose money. It's as simple as that, right? These two companies, they don't have a train, they will not operate, they simply lose money. So there is, it's better to sell the shares than to keep them. Okay, hope to see you in the next video or on lonesomegamer.com. Bye.